on the big thing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Being Naked. My name is Venus Castleberg, your host, and I am so excited to have Rachel Silber here today, one of my personal favorite joy bombs. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you. I was going to say, it's pretty much likewise. You're one of my favorite joy bombs. How does it get even better? Hi, and thank you for having me. And welcome to Whole Foods.
Where you can do podcasts from anywhere, so it sounds great.
Have a phone, will travel. Business done anywhere, right?
Yes. So I wanted to just start, I always invite everybody to taking their deepest barriers down, even ones we don't know about. Starting off and just relax, right? I've noticed with the being naked that there's a lot of preconceived ideas about what this is all about. And I never quite show up naked, but close, you know. But it really is about vulnerability and about this willingness to be ourselves. And today, really, Rachel, for me, you've been such an inspiration as somebody I look to that is totally comfortable being themselves, being you. And I love that. I love just watching you be you. And I'd like to just find out for you is like, maybe something to start off with today is, what do you know about being you that maybe nobody else knows?
That's a phenomenal question. The thing is that I think everybody knows in their own way, you know? Like what you were speaking about, being naked is one of the most, it isn't a specifically, you know, clothes on or clothes off being naked. It's being undefended in the world. And that to me is the willingness to trust the potency of being you. You know, the space and the wonder, really, and you have no idea how it's going to show up. You have no idea. We just picked out a piece of furniture for my parents, and it was in a place that was kind of in the back, and it wasn't furniture that was meant to be that thing, but I just knew that somewhere in the back of the store in that area there was going to be something that was going to work for my parents' house, and no clue. And that's the way being shows up. It's not a clue. It isn't this like path of these are the steps that I must take. These are the adventures that I must go on. These are the things that I have to do in order to be. It isn't that. It's this undefended, unstructured, no freaking clue, pulled over to Whole Foods. Like, okay, gotta talk. No idea how it's gonna show up, but we do that. And so I think for each of us, when we allow, when we're willing to be those discoverers, then we step into this magical space where things don't have to be right, good, perfect, and correct. It doesn't have to be made according to a particular way to be able to be something that you receive from. You just be and you flow and you ask, and the universe begins to show things in the most incredibly delightful ways. And that to me is the adventure of being. And it isn't about being positive, it isn't about being negative, it isn't about any of that. It is this undefended, really cool, surprise me universe. I wonder what's going to show up today. I wonder what this is going to look like. I wonder what this is going to be. And going with the flow in such a different way than you would ever expect.
Thank you for saying that, Rachel, because we actually had somebody send in a question ahead of time, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know how that question fits into this, and then you said that, and I was like, oh, this is perfect because it fits in great. So Joseph was asking about, like, he has a tendency to, like, have a lot of targets in his business and things that he wants to create, and he is wondering how to be him when he still has targets to meet, when he still has things to accomplish?
That's fantastic. It's a great question, and hug Joseph for me too. It's a fantastic question because we so fixate on the doing or and may not be a divine, but may be this following energy until you arrive at some even greater what quote target was to begin with, or what in some cases it's like saying access, where you've got different things, different ideas, and different abilities, and then it's really like, oh, I got that. And many times people will say that about, I've got this plan, and the universe is not conspiring if I don't get the thing I'd like. Well, when you're with yourself, not everybody else would like when you're really tapped into what's going to create great or what's going to be fun here, and what you were saying to push barriers down. The wisdom and the beauty that's it to you. And you're looking, you're not even so much of this, you're allowing yourself and you're knowing. You begin to into this wisdom. The universe is very much a part of consciousness, is very much a part of, and it gives you little clues when they're willing to shut up and let this quiet down. That would make it easier for us to be able to we think that
You're kind of breaking up, Rachel. I think we're having a hard time hearing you. What else is possible?
What else?
Yep, she's frozen. So, cool. Well, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit, see if Rachel can get a better connection. So I think what Rachel was saying, and I'll reiterate it, is that when you're being you, it's a way of being. It doesn't really matter what you're doing.
Is this better?
You're still frozen.
Still frozen?
Like your image is frozen.
I see you and you're not frozen. You're beautiful and you're swaying and I see you and there we go. This works?
Maybe let's take your camera off for a second and then put you back up. Let's try that. Now Rachel's a black screen.
Is this functioning? It has Wi-Fi here, but I took it off the Wi-Fi because it seemed like maybe that wasn't working as well. But the cellular should function.
Can you put is your video on?
My video's on. Yeah. Do you want me to take it off?
I can't see you at all now. It's just a black screen.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. And now?
Still a black screen.
Still a black screen.
Oh, maybe pop off and pop back on. Let's do that. She's going to come back. But anyway, that you can actually be you no matter what's going on, right? You might have tasks to accomplish. You might have things that you need to get done, but you don't have to stop being you. There's kind of this misconception like, oh, okay, now I'm working, so I have to be this person that works. And oh, now I'm, a housewife and I'm cooking, and I have to be this housewife and cook instead of be you and accomplish your tasks. And you'll find that your tasks will get accomplished a lot easier when you're being you. They don't get accomplished very well when you're in like shoulds and have tos and that the right thing to do and all that stuff. So just some food for thought. Let's try. Rachel's back. There she is.
Yay! Hi. I heard food for thought.
Yep. I was just actually talking to that question a little bit too, just so that, and I was just saying, you don't stop being you, getting things done. You just be you throughout it. But a lot of us think we have to like try on different roles or like have to be something different because I'm working now. I'm working
Right.
now, so I'm this person. No, you're you, and you get things done. You just do things right. So it doesn't
But
ever
but
stop.
the thing is, when you're getting things done, when you're doing things, are you doing them from a space of being you, like what you're suggesting, or are you doing them from I have to do things the right way, and this is the way. This is what it looks like when I wear the professional hat, and this is when I take on this particular image, and when I try to please, everybody in uh, in my business or in the way I think it has to be done. And we put so much undue pressure on ourselves to have to wear that particular hat or do things in a particular way. And we forget about the ease that being is and the wisdom that's in us, that when we're willing to tap into who we truly be, we begin to receive so much knowing and awareness and ahas and following the pings and following the energy that it doesn't feel like work. It My husband was saying earlier, it just feels like an ongoing vacation, not a vacation like you lay on the beach and that's it, but there isn't the hardness, the efforting that one has in this reality, if you like to call it that.
So Rachel, has being you been easy for you?
That's a trick question, Venus. Has seeing you been easy for me? Well, it's getting easier all the time, but I have to admit that the idea of being me sounded really good. Like it was this, I have to do being me, you know? For many years in Access, I mean, I read the Being You Changing the World book in 2011 when it came out, and underlined everything that I needed to underline to really get it, right? And highlighted everything that I needed to get it, and then put it away, and didn't want to go to a being you class, didn't want to hear about the topic of being, because I'm already being, right? I'm doing being, right? I already read the book and I underlined it and everything. And then I got the experience last year at my first being you class, and this will be my fifth one that's coming up next weekend. Holy moly, being me is very different than I ever imagined being me to be. Being me is actually lightness and joy, and I'm tearing up. It's just, I'm grateful to be exploring this journey of being me without having to get anything right, which is probably one of the reasons why you called me a joy bomb. Is it isn't about trying to please everybody else or live up to somebody else's standards or even the ones that I may set. There's
What are
only
some? That's really wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And so, what are some of the tools that you use to help you be you?
oh goodness. What are some of the tools that I use to be me? I just wonder. I mean, it's the funniest thing, and especially when I tell my kids I'm modern day Wonder Woman. I just I do less now than I ever did before. I I I don't do the tools as much as I've become them, maybe through practice. So it's good to start with something. First thing is to recognize that who you are now is very different than who you were 10 seconds ago, and 10 seconds before that, and 10 seconds before that. So I give myself this space of discovery. I've got no freaking clue who I am at any given point because I've been so willing to let go of anything that I've ever thought that I was. So yes, that could be a quote unquote doing, a tool, but it's also this becoming that you allow yourself to become whatever space you would like to be. Um, so letting go of whoever I was, and one of my favorite ways, the way I began it years ago, is just everything I've been up to now, everything I've ever decided, everything I've ever chosen, everything I ever thought was true, everything I ever believed, bye bye. You know, let it go, destroy and uncreate it all. And if I didn't have that as the prime definition of me, as the thing that Rachel is, then I wonder who Rachel is. I wonder who I'd be. 'Cause it's so fun when we let go of the have tos and we let go of the all the pasts that we've been holding on to, all the stories that we've been holding on to, all of the ways that we've ever thought we had to be, then there's life becomes this playground, literally this spacious playground of magical possibilities. And it sounds rural, it's actually not. It's so practical. You don't have to struggle and suffer through all of that other stuff. You just follow the lightness, choose the lightness, and have way more fun. It doesn't mean you don't have yucky days, down days, or whatever, but if I weren't this, if this was a passing thought, if this was a point of view, I wonder what I could choose now. And something else begins to show up. The other thing that I've learned a lot is that everything changes. Everything, everything. If I've got the willingness to just kind of go, I wonder what this is, and I wonder what else is available here, it begins to change. So we were flying out yesterday, and we forgot about the COVID tests, and they made us take a COVID test at the airport. And there was this huge lineup of people waiting, and it wasn't moving. Nothing was moving, and we had a flight to catch, which we missed, by the way. But that was okay because it gave us a different kind of gift. We got to enjoy ourselves with our children longer, and that was a lot of fun. Um, but it's interesting when you don't go into the wrongness of yourself and you don't go into the wrongness of any situation, how things could change. So we were waiting in line, and you could see people getting anxious. And I just asked, what else is possible here? Like, if this didn't have to look like this, what else would be available? And I destroyed and uncreated any point of view that I or anyone else in the line may have. And suddenly it started moving. Go figure. It's not really like I have to do things in a particular way, or I have to destroy and uncreate these particular things. I just let go of what seemed fixed, and then space opened up. And to me, being is the spaciousness of possibilities, and the spaciousness of exploration, and the spaciousness of wonder, and this amazing, really, like I'm crying again, tearing up. Um, Life and living is such a miracle. My husband was diagnosed with leukemia um, in February, I guess it was. And it seemed like such a terrible thing. And yet, the gift of that has been this immense closeness and beauty and fun and laughter. I mean, somebody um, calls and asks how we are, like, not dead yet. Like there's humor that's available, there's beauty that's available, there's miracles that are unfolding around us when we're willing to recognize the gift of every moment. That's being. It doesn't come from here, it comes from here.
Sorry. Apparently, the phone agrees.
Yeah. So, what is being you for you? How do you get to the space of beauty?
Well, I love what you said. It's the wonder, it's the exploration of, yeah, it's like exploring. I don't know that I definitely don't think I have it figured out, but I definitely am more like, well, what's fun for me? What do I enjoy? Follow the lightness, follow the wonder. Like, I love days, I absolutely love days where I don't have anything on the schedule and I can follow the energy all day long. Like, I just love those days where it's just like, oh, go here, or, sit and read this book, or, and it's amazing how much more I get accomplished, even because it's like there's not this taskmaster thing going on, right? And I'm like, wow, yeah. And so we can
So who
just be.
sets up the mastering thing
Who said it?
for you? Yeah. Like what is the there are certain things that we've got to do, but who determines how it has to be, and who's standing there with a whip over you saying you have to do it this way, at this time, this hour?
Probably just me. I don't know that there's anybody else out there doing that. But yeah, where did we pick that up from? We probably learned it from our parents. We learned it from school. Like,
School,
well, yeah,
yeah. You
yeah,
have
this,
the deadlines to
yep,
turn things in, and you have
yep.
to do social media right and do all of these particular things, and it's really fascinating. I'm curious what it would show up as. I've been in groups that you've hosted. You had a WhatsApp thread. I'm not sure. I'm not as active on Telegram. Sometimes I am, certain chats, but not on absolutely everything. But I treasured when you would send little snippets of you on the hikes, carrying around your selfie stick and talking with, showing us the plants and showing us the view. And you know, there's such an invitation that you were being, not just for us, like the tool that you would think, but the space that you were willing to be and inviting us to, that is such a huge contribution. And that to me is being naked in the world.
Right. Yeah. Being you, yeah. I find being myself is easier oftentimes in nature. It just, there's no filter, there's no, yeah, no makeup, there's no, it's like
Yeah.
I don't have to show up perfect. I just show up as me. So that's really great. And so I'd like to invite everybody out there. Thank you so much for being here with Rachel and I, and to just find where it is for you. Where can you find you, and do more of that? Do more of the things that that you're being you naturally, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to show anybody that you're doing it. You're just doing it because it's you, and that's an ease for you. And we all have different spaces and places for that. But I definitely encourage you to do it more so that you have more of you.
And then
Go
I'm going to
ahead.
double dog dare you guys to take what Venus just invited you to and recognize the energy of that joyfulness and that peacefulness and that expansiveness that you have, maybe out in the forest or out at the beach or wherever it is that your yummy space is. Tap into that and recognize that that's the space of you. And then wherever you go, ask for more of that spaciousness to show up. Whether it's in the midst of Whole Foods by the beer section, where I am, or in the mall the day before Christmas, or driving in rush hour traffic, if that still exists. I guess it still exists. And it's really interesting. You can transition that. You can practice asking for that you recognize that Venus had invited you to. That knowing of who you be, and not seeking some image or definition or label or story or trying to get anything right, or to being that taskmaster behind you. But when you're at peace and you bring that peace into every situation, what would that create?
Hey kids. Sorry about that. I just thought I'd pop on here and tell you thank you, all of you who've been watching, and sorry for the technical difficulties today. We had a few, but sorry about that. How does it get better? And I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good day. Bye.